In this particular plant, I do want to just bring up some of the other countervailing forces around it. I think that is, it's part of the calculus, and I think it's important to just have on mind that, the Port of Baltimore is one of our largest economic drivers in the state of Maryland, and particularly for the Baltimore region. 50% of all of the tonnage of the Port of Baltimore is through the exporting of coal. That is reduced over time, absent what's happened in Ukraine. There's been sort of this uptick, but there was a gradual reduction over time. Because of the amount of coal that's shipped out of CSX, it is one of the reasons that the Port of Baltimore is deemed an energy port, which gives us pretty significantly more resources to dredge our 50-foot channel, which is one of the bases of a lot of the commerce that comes through the Port of Baltimore, not including coal. So we are competitive because of our 50-foot channel that is largely maintained because of the federal money, because we are an energy port. So if tomorrow coal went away and we were not shipping coal, and just to be clear, the Keith Avenue coal pier is probably a quarter of a mile from my house in Southeast Baltimore too. So it is, this is something I am keenly aware of with my own kids and thinking through the impacts in our own lives as well. So the concentration is certainly different in Curtis Bay and Brooklyn because of the number of air emitting sources that exist in the industrial park that is Fairfield. But this is not just unique. This is sort of a full district issue. I have been trying to figure out where the points of leverage are. I don't think that there is I don't see a realistic path where it changes tomorrow, where the Port of Baltimore is no longer exporting coal. The impacts of that would be, the economic impacts would be draconian to say the least. And I think that there's going to be a larger plan needed to figure out the long-term. What I do think is more viable is enhancing the monitoring and protection around the facility. The issue of the trains is a little bit more complicated because I believe that is largely federally regulated, not MDE regulated. I think MDE only has it for the sites, the dust related to the storage, I forget the term of art.
Yeah, that's correct. And we petitioned the EPA to have the trains covered. So we're not, we understand that, and we're
got it.
Yep.
I can't remember that. Right. So where it is on site. And I am not, I just, I think you all did an excellent job. I don't know what the impact, or I don't know whether MD has the authority to be able to require the enclosure facility as part of the permit. I'm just not aware.
They are, and they're considering it.
Okay. So my understanding is that they have been working very closely, and that in the next month, in the middle of the month, that they're supposed to be moving forward with a draft permit sometime soon. I've expressed to them whatever we can, the furthest extent that we can protect it, while also recognizing the balance that it's not going away tomorrow. I'm strongly supportive, and so I just want to be very kind of honest and direct about the countervailing impacts on the Port of Baltimore for these two CSX facilities. And it is the balance of interests that is always the case. And that's what we're trying to, that's largely what we're trying to navigate.
Yeah. So there was a hand up. Shoshana, I think your hand was up.
Yeah, I think I was going to say, I think, like a lot of this work that the students have done was to, show that this is coal dust, right? Or to show, to answer those questions that community residents have because of this constant fear and panic that they are in, especially after the explosion. They had it before, but it's really being acknowledged because of that explosion, right? And I think we all are aware that it's not going to close down tomorrow, right? And so I think that's why we have those things such as the community, the mitigation fees, and then also looking into phasing it out, right? So it's a phase out plan that we are looking for, and we are looking for someone to champion that phase out plan, and looking to have those restriction as you said yourself, right? As much as we can restrict it to protect communities, until that phase out happen. And I think that's what we are trying to put forward.
Yeah, I mean, I have no idea what the timeline of a phase out would be. And I just am not sure. I don't know enough. You know, look, I'm glad that this is being moved forward. I wish I could say it was gonna be the top thing that I'm focused on. It is important. It is something that, you know, I'm glad to talk to my colleagues in the district on. I don't want to mislead and say that it's going to be my top issue out there. I'm glad to support however I can. I don't want to overstate the ability to, you know, it is an issue that I look forward to supporting. I don't know that I can take it on as being the number one thing I work on.